Hey everybody, this is Ryan, and this is my roommate, Carly, and this is a glass of wine. And you might see one of the dogs running around here.
Or barking.
In a minute. Or barking, correct, yes. So basically, this is what's going on. The other night, Carly and I had a few of these, and it doesn't take many for me at all to get happy and limber. And basically, what we started talking about was Carly's basically looking for the next big thing and kind of has a dream, and I'm helping her basically take that dream and turn it into an online business. And in my winoed state, I didn't think to record it, and so what we really want to do is to talk about how I'm planning to help Carly take what she's passionate about and turn that into, a real business, whether it's just a few $1,000s a month or a six-figure business or $1 million business or, you're on stage with Tony Robbins. Yes. For those of you who don't know, which would be, maybe anyone watching this video that isn't me, tell them what you're passionate about and what it is that you're trying to do.
I'm really passionate about empowering people to live the life that they want to live. Get out of that 9-to-5, job to pay the bills where they feel like they're dying a little bit each day inside. I want to make you feel alive, and just like every day is joy. Every day I find myself saying life is so much fun just from whatever experience is happening, and I want to be able to have other people have that same experience.
Now, if I said that, everyone would think I was talking about money, because I teach people how to take what they do and turn it into money. But that's not you. Your health and passion and spirituality.
Yeah, so to me, the basis of living a life to the fullest is first getting your health in order, because you have to have the energy to do all the fun things you want to do. And then spirituality is another huge piece, if not more important than health. It's actually the foundation for everything. Not necessarily religion. If religion is your thing, that's okay, but spirituality, the connection to the higher power in life, whatever you call it.
So that's Carly's passion.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of that stuff. We also disagree on plenty of this. For example, while we were making dinner, we were just laughing about our differences on this topic, and we won't go into that. But anyway, so we had this great conversation. I'm not sure how much of it we can remember. Well, at least me. I had more than one glass of wine, so I was a mess. Yeah. But basically what we talked about, I want to go back, and because we were so excited at the end of that night, and your eyes were lighting up, and you're realizing, holy crap, I actually have everything I need in order to have a real successful online business, and all it takes is to actually do it.
Right. Well, for so long, I've wanted to start a blog for probably over a year now, and I've had a website. I have my website. I have it, but I don't know where to start. It's kind of overwhelming to me. When I get overwhelmed, I tend to just kind of ignore it or take a nap.
Most people do, yeah.
Literally or figuratively. And after sitting here talking with Ryan, he kind of laid it all out for me and was just like, this is all you do first, and then this happens, and this happens.
Well, go ahead and tell them what if you remember. If you don't remember, I'll fill in the gaps. But
well, first you said just to start writing, and I was so fixated on the idea of having to get my website look nice and pretty.
Yeah, you had this idea of I got to spend thousands of dollars to make this website, and I was like, no. There's an example that I showed Carly. It was nerdynomad.com. It's this blog. It's this girl that travels. And she puts income reports on her site, and she's making about $100,000 a year, and it's an ugly site. And you were like, holy crap, I can do that.
Yeah, I visualize much more for myself, and I just never knew that this, blogs could make this kind of money. And, it's not all about the money for me, but it would be nice to be able to be compensated for what I'm sharing with the world. Yeah, and I think we all appreciate that.
You were saying, even it was just, $4,000 a month, that's a full-time income. And you don't have to worry about money basically ever again. And in my experience, it'll start at a few $1,000s a month, and then it'll grow and grow bigger and bigger, and then you're on Oprah. And I think the way I laid it out for you was, I said, just go write one. You were all worried about how everyone is. How do you You were worried about impacting like the big picture before taking the small chunks. That made no sense. I've had 4 sips of wine, so I'm trashed right now. But I was saying, just if you write one article and all it does is exist to inspire one person, and you put it on Facebook, and a couple people read it, and then one person's inspired, and then they share it on Facebook, and then somebody else likes it, and they share it, and then somebody tweets it, and then you do a couple more, and you comment on someone else's blog, and those followers come back, and they read your stuff, and then another person picks up and tweets it, and their followers pick it up, and they're like, hey, when you want to do a feature on my blog, we'll do an interview with me. And then somebody's like, hey, I saw you on such a place. I need some content. Can we do a podcast? Then you end up doing a podcast. And then somebody contacts you and is like, I want to do coaching. And you're like, I've never done coaching before. My rate is $200 an hour. And I remember I told you that, and you were like, I can't charge $200 an hour. But when you have a list of people that want to hire you for consulting, if you have 100 people waiting for you to hire you for consulting, you can't do them all. So you throw out a crazy number, and you're like, I'll coach you. I'll coach 8 of you who can afford me. And now you have a full-time income, and people are trying to advertise on you. And then Oprah is trying to get you on the show. And then Tony Robbins is calling you up on stage. And then Barack Obama is like, I need you for help. And then you run for president. Like that's the natural progression of starting a blog. What I'm saying is, if you start a blog, you can be president of the United States. That's
bottom line.
Yeah. Of course, I cannot make these claims. The results are not typical. Asterisks. Text at the bottom of the screen. So I remember that was like the first step that I laid out for you, was just write something and share it on Facebook and try to inspire one person. And I don't remember what the rest I told you. I remember chunking it down to like, Carly, you need to go do that.
Yeah, that was the gist of it. And at the end, I was so excited, and just like, it made it much more real and feasible for me. Because like I said, I was overwhelmed, and looking at the big picture, like I tended to thinking like, I want to change the world, but I just need to start with one person at a time. And even if that's all that ever happens, like my job is done, because I would love to just be an inspiration.
Well, there's so many people that, even myself, when I think about where I want to be, I feel like I need to go do it all at once. Mm-hmm. When in reality, all I need to do is one little step at a time. And I think you were feeling that same way of, who you want to be and what you want to do, and it felt like it all had to manifest immediately. Whereas all you really need to do is start at step 1. And for you, that's putting up a post about something you're passionate about on this topic. Mm-hmm. So brainstorm with me. Like, what are some of the things you're going to write about?
Oh gosh. I think eventually one of these, what I want to write about after I experience it a little bit, but they're called these Tibetan rites, some yogic postures that will really help in just daily health and energy. Simple tips like tweaks you can make in your diet to give you more energy and cut out some of the toxins. How spirituality is important, and ways to connect with your feelings, ways to observe yourself if you're disconnected from your feelings and emotion, and the importance behind all of that.
Pause. The reason I answered that question is because you just rattled off like 6 or 7 in 20 seconds. Which is good. I'm saying that's good. What that means is this is something you can write about or make videos about, that you have knowledge about, that are true to you, and there's other people out there who want that information. What you just said, the only reason I know what Tibetan rites are is because I see you on your yoga mat out here in the morning, and I have no, I don't really, but I know that there's a market for it because of your passion, because there's books about it, because there's blogs about it, because there's forums about it, because you go to conferences about it. Side note, Carly pays a lot of money to go to a lot of conferences about this stuff. And the minute you start blogging about it, that's a business expense. And now all of that stuff is part of you becoming who you need to be in order to continue to share what you believe in with the rest of the world.
I like that. It's an investment in myself and in all the people that I'm going to be sharing this with.
Yeah, now your passion, like when you have a business around your passion, you can go do all the things that you want to do and write it off as a business expense. In fact, it's necessary for you to do it. All the conferences you go to, like Tony Robbins stuff. We met at a Tony Robbins event, by the way.
That's true.
And then we
on
became
the plane
friends.
Ride home.
And then we became friends, hung out like twice, and then moved in together. And now we're like a married couple that sleeps in separate rooms. And you know, this is as close contact as we've ever been, basically. Anyway.
He's funny. I laugh a lot. It's good.
She's easy. To make laugh. And then to make laugh. I don't know about the other. We don't really talk about that. Anyway, I don't know how to get out of this at this point.
Just have a sip of wine.
Good call. All right, so blogging. So you're gonna have this blog, and like I know you're gonna get that first post up. Like what do the next steps look like for you? And I know what they are. Like I'm gonna tell you if you get this wrong.
Well, in my mind, I'm still kind of hung up on the design and like the way it looks.
Okay,
just a little. Not okay. I'm more aware of how easy it is to do that, but right.
Do we want to look at some examples again?
We could do that.
Okay, so we'll just talk about the ones that we're looking at on screen. So first of all, let's look at that one example we looked at together, that Nerdy Nomad, nerdynomad.com. There we go. So this is like this is a pretty ugly site. Like,
yeah.
No knock to.
Yeah, I feel bad like talking down on it, but it's like what I envisioned for myself would be a little bit more appealing.
All right, so this is all you need to worry about on like any site has a header here at the top that will probably be branded to whatever you call your site. If you call it Carly Rochelle or if you call it something different, it could just be branded to that header. Just needs to be branded to whatever that is. Okay. And then some people will like the reason this site kind of looks not so nice is because their header is just kind of plain and they got a gray background that doesn't match the header. Mm-hmm. If they change those two things, it would look like a completely different site.
Right.
And that's all the design element that you need to worry about. And you can have somebody on Fiverr.com do that for $5. You can pay a professional designer $3,000 to do it. You know, or you can have 20 people do it on Fiverr, for $5. Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. And it's always, two sections. There's information on one side and then like how they connect with you on the other. And then this is your links, your navigation. And that's really all you need to worry about. If you really wanted to be super professional, there's a site called 99designs.com where you create a prize, and it's usually $500, and all these designers come in and they create all these different beautiful mock-ups, and you choose the best one to get the prize, and then you get that file. If you wanted to be like over the moon crazy professional about it, you could do that, but I obviously don't think. I mean, most of let me show you another example. Shoe Money. This is a site called shoemoney.com. This is Thesis. Okay, this is that thing that you were telling me about, the theme Thesis. So this doesn't look much different from like your basic Thesis site, except they added in a background. Right. If you guys are following, it's shoemoney.com if you're not familiar with Shoe Money. This guy is basically the number one guy who talks about making money online.
Interesting.
He's like the number one guy. This guy has like has some like TV and radio deals in the works. Wow. Because look at this. Daily active readers, 279,854.
That's oh my God.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not that nice of a site. Like, it's not that crazy of a site.
I don't understand.
It's because the design is not nearly as important as your audience. It's not nearly as important as what's actually on the site.
Right.
So the best thing for you to do would be to just put up the site and just so it looks acceptable. Mm-hmm. And you can always tweak the design later, but worrying about the design before you do anything is like a barrier for you taking action.
Yeah, I've learned that.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
It's been a year and you're like, I want it to look nice. Well, Shoe Money is like, whatever. Like right here, like it has total visitors on the site live, and there's 70 people on the site right now.
Wow.
Looking at this. And it's not like that big. All right, so one of my heroes, Tim Ferriss. Is it timferriss.com?
Fix to find out. 4-hour work week.
Okay, wait. No, that's not it. That's not it.
Just kidding.
If I could type FOUR, 4hourblog.com. This is a little bit of a nicer site. This looks great. But all it is a header with a background that matches, and then the 2 sections. Content on one, how to get in touch with me on the right. That's really, like, that's kind of the formula. And we can sweat and slave about what they all look like, but that's the format, is the header, the background, and the 2 sections with the links at the top.
Yeah, pretty basic.
Yeah, it's nothing really crazy. Nothing really crazy.
I can do it. So
are we convinced at this point that design is not nearly as important as the rest of the site?
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so you've got all these ideas for. Oh, I want to tell you one thing not to do. One thing you shouldn't do is have your first post be about why you started the blog.
Okay.
This is what most people do. Is they're like, I'm so and so, and my favorite person is my cat, and I like drawing. And by the way, this blog is about tantric sex. I don't know. Like it's just like that doesn't affect anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So don't make your first post what this blog is going to be about. Just pick a topic and make it awesome. Now, one exception to that would be if you talked about why something is important, that'd be okay. If you talked about why spirituality matters, if you talked about why energy matters, and why you feel inspired to write that blog, that's cool. As long as it's got something that somebody else can use. Because you're writing for them, you're not writing for you.
Right. Okay.
Your blog is the expression of who you are. It's not a place where you get significance, like intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? It's not, hey, everyone, look at me. Mm-hmm. It's who you are and what you believe coming through and inspiring other people.
Yeah, I like that. And I think of back whenever blogs started. In my mind, they started as a way to just kind of like online journal for everyone. And I think now in our day and age, it's kind of transformed a little bit. Yeah. And so that's a good distinction.
Yeah, it's very rare that like just the personal blog is
still around.
Well, I mean, it's around.
It's just on travel to share with their family and friends.
Yeah.
Not to reach big audiences by any means.
Yeah, if you want to do something like that, just talk about what you're doing. Use mytimeline.com. It's a microblogging site that basically it tracks you day by day. And you can share it with people, or you can keep it private. You can allow like only certain people to follow you. And if you're going on a trip, you want to post pictures, it's perfect for that. mytimeline.com. It's not something you make money with. That's the personal thing that you are sharing with family. Blogging, you should be making a lot of money with. Do we go over the ways that you're going to make money with your blog?
A little bit.
Okay.
Let's do it now.
Cool. Let's look at, I showed you this example, smartpassiveincome.com. This is a guy who blogs about his blog. So this guy just decided that he was going to start an online business, and he started sharing the experience. I call it a follow-along blog. Basically what that means is he started doing all these things and then just sharing his experience, and people started following his experience. So with you, that might be, this wouldn't be you, but it'd be something similar as like my quest to get healthy. Mm-hmm. And they test all these things, and people look at what they're testing, and some things work out and some things are horrible. People eat that up. Mm-hmm. Like, absolutely eat that up. So a follow-along blog is a great way to kick off some content, because it's almost like you create an event. You could do maybe, if you did like a 30-day meditation challenge for you. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what I'm experiencing. It's day 15 and I'm experiencing this, and I tried this meditation. I'm going to walk you through it, and this is what I felt when I was doing it. Or,
is it okay, I'm just wondering, to have a blog kind of how I'm envisioning right now, and then to jump into like kind of a follow-along experience and then go back to normal?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. But this blog started as a guy just documenting his journey, and people started following along on his journey. And that's a lot of my success has been that. Me talking about me building online businesses and people coming along, and then I share products that I really like. And then people start contacting me. They want to promote my products, and it builds from there. Mm-hmm. This guy, I think I told you, this guy makes $50,000 a month from this blog.
That's wild. Oh my God.
Yeah. $50,000 a month just sharing his experience. So one of the cool things he does is he has these income reports where you can just like look at how he's making money. So you can, I'm just showing you this so you can look at some of the ways that your blog can make money. Here we go. So these right here are articles he promote, or products he promotes as an affiliate. Did we talk about promoting as an affiliate?
A little bit.
All right, so basically,
vaguely familiar.
Any product in the world, whether it's on Amazon or whether it's on a site called ClickBank, which is like digital products and membership sites. There's probably stuff on there on juice fasting and cleansing and things that don't need to be shipped to your house or just information. Amazon, ClickBank. There's a bunch of places out there where you can find products to sell as an affiliate, and all you do is send people through your link, and it tracks it, and you get a percentage of whatever you sell. It's usually between low end is like 10% on Amazon, all the way up to like 75% on a digital product. So if something was selling for $50, you might get 35 of that because you've sent the customer there. So blogging is great for that because what happens is people start to follow you for a while, and then when you make a recommendation, your audience is like, oh, well, if Carly likes it, I'm totally going to buy this and use it. But not only that, you can also get the way that I paid for college was this. I had a blog, and I was documenting my experience of building an online business, and I started doing reviews of these products that I was trying. And then what happened was those reviews started to rank in Google. So if somebody was looking for that product and they typed it into Google, it started to rank there, and my affiliate links were all over the place. And so all of a sudden I was making like $100 a day just from these reviews that were floating around on Google from my blog. So the same thing, like Google loves blogs. So the same thing could happen for you if like, let's say you did a review of Tony Robbins' relationship program. I don't know if they have an affiliate program or not, but let's say they did, and they paid 25%, and it's a $300 product. That means you're going to make $75 if someone buys through your link. So let's just say you went through the program, you went through your experience, and you had your affiliate link, and some of your audience was buying it, and you'd make some money. Then you do a review of it after you were done. You talk about, it did this for me, it did this for me, it did this for me. And Google picks that up and it puts it at the top for Tony Robbins' relationship program. Now all of a sudden, hundreds of people a day are coming to your site by finding you in Google looking for information about Tony Robbins' relationship program. They're buying through your affiliate link, and they're also finding out about you. And they're coming back and they're looking at your other stuff. And then they're sharing it, and they're putting it on Twitter, and they're putting it on Facebook, which brings more people back. And it just builds and builds and builds and builds until Oprah's like, I want you to take over for me.
That would be weird. But cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Though, about like you can talk about a product on your site and then get it ranked in Google, and then that just the audience continues to build and it build. There was one thing I said to you that I think really struck a chord, which was I said there's these things you can do, and there's most people think about all these things that you can do as things you have to do. Like you could have a blog, and then you could have a Facebook, and you could have a Twitter, and then you could have a Pinterest, and then you could do search engine optimization, and then you could build a list on your site, and then you could do consulting, and then you could have your own product, and you could roll out a membership site and a continuity program, and then you could have upsells for that. And then you could have Amazon stuff and I remember telling you this, and you were like, well, yeah, well, no kidding. All you have to do is one of those things, and there are people who pay for their entire life with just one of those things, and the rest just falls into place. Like eventually, I I hope you'll get to the point where you have this big following and then you can write something up on Amazon and it goes crazy because you already have that audience.
Yeah.
I think we started this rant when I was talking to you about what you needed to do step 2. And I never told you what step 2 was.
I don't remember step 2.
Forgive me.
No. Let's find out.
So your step 2, after you've written one post, or maybe a couple posts, and you've shared them on Facebook, and some of your friends are getting on there and sharing it, and you got a few visitors. Your next thing is to be going to the other people in your market that you respect.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are talking about meditation, they're talking about eating for energy, they're talking about healthy living. You want to be active on those people's sites. You want to be commenting on their posts. You can interact with them on Twitter. My goodness, like Twitter is the most underutilized marketing source in the world. Like yesterday, like I've built up a bit of a relationship to the point where he would recognize me with an MLB.com writer. Like he would recognize me if I saw him. He would know my name if I said it. I'm obsessed with the show Survivor. You know this, and there are people from Survivor who would recognize my name because of interactions I've had with them on Twitter.
Nice.
That's
actually how I got into Tony Robbins. My first ticket to Unleash the Power Within was for free because one of my friends had gotten them via Tony through Twitter.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
great.
It's like all coming full circle.
Great. And if you follow Tony on Twitter, you see that he retweets his, like when people write to him and say that they had some success, he retweets them a lot, which gives them a ton of new followers. And and so Twitter is just this. The reason I bring it up for you is to interact with the other people that are bloggers in your space that have an audience. Mm-hmm. And what you can do is when you're commenting on their stuff, if you're interacting with them on Twitter, they start to view you as their peer. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, then all of their followers become your followers. And they start to follow you as a thought leader, just like they follow that other person.
Nice.
Now, we've talked about my last girlfriend. We'll just leave this nice. We'll leave it nice. Let's just say if my last girlfriend can do this, anyone can do this. I talked a lot, like her main strategy, and this was brilliant, like kudos to her, was she was interacting with all of these other people in her space through Twitter and posting on their blogs. It didn't hurt that she was cute, and she started getting all this attention, and like I have a friend who's in the same space as her. In fact, she interacted with him not knowing that we had a relationship. And he told me later, he's like, yeah, she's interacting with all the top people.
Wow.
She's one of the top blogs in her space now because she's just interacting with the other people in her space and is now dating a C-list celebrity as a result of that blog. So
that's interesting. It's all about networking.
Yes.
Like I learned that in business school, but now it's just a completely different format.
So put out good shit and then interact with people who have pull in their space. And then your stuff starts to rise to the top. That's like your steps 1 and 2. And I say like in the we talked about affiliate stuff and like let's talk about money. Let's do a whole call about how to make money with your blog.
Okay.
Is that
Sounds
cool?
Good. Yep.
Because I feel like this is good, and then we can just take a whole. Did one of the dogs fart?
But yeah, it probably.
It smells really bad.
That was Sadie.
Is that Sadie? Okay.
Yes.
I got a Cassie dog. Well, that's a good place to stop right there. When dogs start farting, you know it's time to stop talking. Okay, Carly, I love you.
Cheers, thank you.
I think you're the best.
Love you too.
And we'll be keeping you posted on Carly's success as we are coaching her through. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.